family had more than one family had more than one death. So all the ministers really, I know there are so many ministers attached to each family, one minister for family, This thing has got to be clear. And then life is cheap. $5 million for the death of your daughter. $5 million for $5 million for the death of your daughter. And then the person who negotiated with the family, or perhaps who influenced the family to accept the money, he is the lawyer for the
I'm
commission.
coming to that. I can read what they say. I'm coming. Don't jump the gun. I'm coming. I'm reading exactly what they're saying, so they can't go and say we misrepresenting anybody.
Yeah.
I'm reading exactly what the report said. As I told you, a loyal student sent a copy to me, and I was able to, over the past couple of days, read. And I went so far to make sure that I get extracts of certain aspects of this report that I find very worrying. And let me read a part about the compensation. Now, this is on page 47, folks. On page 47 on the report, and it is entitled Agreement for Financial Assistance. And here what they say, it started by saying, Ms. Shoshona Lal, Attorney at Law of the Office of the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, appeared to us to inform the Commission of the agreement for financial assistance executed by and on behalf of those affected by the fire. She testified that she was part of a team that assisted the Honorable Attorney General in drafting an agreement that formed the basis of financial assistance to the victims and their families. The witness stated that legal advice and research were provided to the cabinet, and it was pursuant to that research and advice that she and her team were given instructions to draft the agreement. She reported that having received approval of the agreement, she and the team led by the Attorney General thereafter visited Mahdia and engaged with the families. The witness testified that the engagement took the form of a meeting with the group, then individual meetings with each family. She stated that they went through very carefully each line of the agreement systematically. The parents were provided with an independent counsel with whom they had the opportunity to consult privately before executing the agreement. The witness testified that some of the families spoke in their native Patamonia language, and therefore the engagement always had a translator translating for such persons. We are told that at no time was there any pressure, intimidation, or force used to execute the said agreement, and that it was done based on the free will of those who received assistance. And then it goes on to say, Ms. Lal further stated that she then prepared a report based on the agreement of the financial assistance provided and the independent advice that was tendered to the families and to the number of persons who received the assistance. Financial assistance was disaggregated in the following terms: $5 million for families of the deceased, $3 million for those who were severely injured, and $500,000 for those who suffered minor injuries. Well, you got a lot of stuff here to unpack. A lot of stuff to unpack. She said that these people got independent advice. And the commission, I'm telling you that this person who was made to give independent advice to the families, Keoma Griffith from a law firm on South Road, he became the lawyer to the commission. So they did not mention that. And I looked in the report too. All the pictures, I saw the picture of all of these people there, the victims, the family, and all set of pictures. I ain't seen this one, the lawyer to the commission. His picture is not there. This is the lawyer who represented those persons that Ms. Lal is talking about and gave them advice in respect to this matter. He gave them advice. And then he became the secretary to the commission. They're mentioning him. They're not mentioning him. Why they are not mentioning him? Because they know. I said it before, there's a clear conflict of interest. How could you have represented the victims and then come back and be on the commission to be the the lawyer to the commission, unless the only way you should have been in the commission is if you have to give evidence in the commission, but not to be the lawyer in the commission. And then they say this is what we call police language. Police language. Well, she stated that they went through very carefully each line of the agreement systematically. The parents were provided with independent counsel with whom they had the opportunity to consult with privately before executing the agreement. And then she said that some of them spoke in the language. They had interpreters to interpret for them. And then the nonsense on this commission. We were told. That's what I'm telling you. We were told. So you are not in a position to make an assessment as to whether you are told what you've been told is lie. Did you not interrogate that aspect? We were told. We were told that at no time was there any pressure, intimidation, or force used to execute the said agreement, and it was done based on their free will and those who received assistance. We know that the people were pressured. That is why the Attorney General went there himself. That was the allegation, that he went there personally, and they told people if they didn't sign now, they walk with cash. How was it dispersed? They flew into the area with cash Guyana currency. And that is coercion, in case you don't know. They wave the cash and say, take it now, or you ain't getting it at all. Take it now or nothing. And under those circumstances, a lot of people took the money. A lot of people, it was said, were reluctant, even though when they got the advice and the thing, they were reluctant to take money. They were reluctant to accept the money. But what happened? They were forced and they were told plainly. It was alleged that they were told openly that if you don't take it now, you got nothing to get. You're talking about poor people in the hinterland. You're waving a $5 million, $3 million, and a 500,000, and now you're threatening them that if they don't take it now, they ain't getting nothing to get. How many people, would have been able to resist that type of pressure and temptation? That's easy. How many persons? Yeah?
A real case of a cold-blooded case of conflict of interest, and then it has similarity like the caution statements that the police take, threats. They've threatened them, take it, or you won't get anything to get, That the whole thing is stinking, Paul. Life is so cheap, $5 million, and then they negotiate, or to use the term, the influencer, the person who's influencing the persons to take the money is the attorney for the commission. God, I really can't find words to describe that part of the inquiry. Total lawlessness.
Well, you say lawlessness. I said total BS, total bullshit. You recognize it from a distance as an experienced police commander. You read thousands of reports. You recognize that right away that is what it is. Now let me go on to page 50. Financial response, page 50, folks. Hear what the Commissioner of Inquiry said. Hear what the Commissioner of Inquiry led by Joe Singh, and include Kim Kite John, Dr. Kim Kite, well, she Thomas now, Kim Kite Thomas, a former magistrate and a lawyer. This is what they wrote. I don't know the other man who represented the third post. I don't know him. I saw him there, but I don't know him. But I thought I knew Josin. I thought I knew Kim Kite Thomas. But this can't be their work. They might have signed it blindly. This cannot be their work. And I hope they will come out and denounce this thing that is presented on their behalf. Because what page 50 said, it is evident that a significant amount of money was expended by the government of Guyana to provide an effective response. These efforts are commendable and serve to negate the effect of the tragedy. It goes on to say, with respect to the agreement for financial assistance, we note that no value of money can ever replace a life or limb, let alone a child with so much hope, dreams, and aspirations. We are of the view, however, that the sum of $5 million distributed to families of the deceased persons was sufficient. Let me read that back. They said we are of the views of that $5 million distributed to families of the deceased was sufficient. We also find that the sum of the upper scale, $3 million, dispensed to those who suffer physical injury was also sufficient. The commission, however, was not satisfied with the method of disbursement of the said $3 million. Some students with minor physical injuries either received assistance at the lower end of the scale, which is $500,000, or nothing at all. Further, students without any physical injuries did not receive lump sum assistance. We find it unfortunate that every female student involved in the fire on the evening of 21st of May 2023 did not receive financial assistance at the upper end of the scale. But the Commission of Inquiry said that this $5 million that was given to these relatives of the deceased children was sufficient. That is the word. $5 million is what, 25,000 US dollars was sufficient. And the $3 million to the injured person was sufficient as well. The only thing in this report what they seem not to say they don't agree with is the fact that some of the children don't get no money. That is what they say. I still can't believe that former Chief of Staff, retired Major General Joe Singh, former magistrate, former Solicitor General, Dr. Kim Thomas, would sign this report. I don't think they prepared it. I don't think that they prepared this report. I would think that Mr. Singh and Mrs. Thomas are more particular, as they would say. And these things that you see in here, for example, the story about Mahdia, I don't think they would make such a mistake. I really still can't believe that they would make such a mistake and write this thing. I believe they're sign blind, and having presented it, they decide they're going to roll with the punches or go with the flow, but something is wrong. This report is such a bullshit report, and I saw in, I think it was yesterday's paper, a lot of prominent persons came out with a letter. Dr. Adams, GHK Lal, some other people asked some questions about this report. Now, Vincent Adams, Alfred Bulai, Andre Brandy, Janet Bulkan, Casimiro, Kushial, GHK Lal, Joe Prasad, Vanda Razik, Charles Pilgrim, Charlie Wilkinson. These are people who wrote a letter in Starbrook News yesterday asking some questions about this report. I really and truly, having read this report, and I read it again, just in case I miss something, I'm going to read it again. And you know, Mr. Conway has said on this program on several occasions that when we read, we are trained, you don't just read a statement, you just don't read a report. You read and you analyze. You do statement analysis. You do report analysis. So that is what I am in the process of doing, to analyze this thing more carefully, to see if really I have overlooked something. But based on what I have read, I can only say that this report was set out to whitewash what transpired. So the government was to be absolved of all blames. As I said, some of the most egregious things in this report is when the attorney from the Attorney General's chamber can tell us that these people received independent legal advice, did not name who gave the advice, and the reason that was omitted is deliberate. Well, I don't know if she named it in the commission, but the report did not name it. It's because the same person who gave the family advice turned out to be the lawyer for the commission, Kioma Griffith from a South, that they had said initially, from a law firm on South Road. Conflict of interest, clear unprofessionalism. Clear unprofessionalism. They went into the interior and browbeat those persons into signing this thing. Despite what they say, that is what it is alleged from very early. They went there, they threatened them, they do all kind of thing. They took the money. They did not say that, how was the cash dispersed? $5 million of family. I understand no check was prepared. That is the understanding. They carry the money. You show $5 million in front of the poor family and tell them, take it or leave it. What do you think they're going to do? Take it or leave it. And then you want to say there was no coercion, there was no intimidation, and the sign of the free will and volition? BS. BS. Let me bring back in Mr. Conway. And CC, say something more on this
Yeah,
matter.
carrot and stick, carrot and stick mentality, man. Take the money or you don't get nothing. Thing. You know, and even the certain things that they didn't really highlight. For instance, the first responder from the fire service to that fire, they didn't highlight that. The first responder went on an ATV. Perhaps ATV is vehicle of choice by the Joint Service. Remember in the escape of Smalley, we hear about ATV being used. And then they didn't highlight either the browser for the Mahdia fire station, the Mahdia fire station. At the time of the fire, it was at Letem. It, it was at Letem, washing the streets for the visit of the president and the flag raising ceremony. The fire chief could not have taken it on his own to send that vehicle, that browser, to Letem, to wash the streets of Letem for the flag raising ceremony when it was required at Majo. He could not take it on his own. It had to be the movers and shakers of the fire service who give the direction for it to go to Majo. And they also query why, if they look at the what they call the Greenfield Tower fire in London in 27, there are several lessons to be learned. There are several things that they could have garnered from looking at that report, which was a major fire at the tower there in London. They didn't look at that. The whole thing looked like to me like was a whitewash. And then what yardstick they use to come up with the idea that, hey, $5 million for the death of my child was enough, was adequate. As I said earlier, the whole thing was designed to look at the government interests and to whitewash the whole arrangement. The minister can't get away from this. No way, no shape or form. Whenever done, it was the ministry's responsibility, and the ministry had a head, which is the minister, and that minister didn't give his testimony, didn't go and talk one word at that inquiry. The whole thing was a sham, and I'm disappointed with that report.
To say, all I can say is that it would appear that the report did what they were paid to do: whitewash this whole thing, absolve the government from blame, and as some people saying, it's gonna be business as usual. But it is the worst report I have read. The thing is clearly designed for one purpose, and that purpose is to absolve the government. And then when the commission keeps saying that we were told, this was the evidence. You were told this. Did you interrogate those things? Huh? Did you interrogate it? Again, I say, when you were told that these persons received independent advice, who gave the advice? You did not mention that, because you know that if you had mentioned that, the whole conflict of interest issue would have been revealed. So you hide the name of the liar. Who was there with you throughout? Who was there with you throughout? And we saw it coming, because during the summing up of the Commission of Inquiry, the same liar to the Commission of Inquiry started to point fingers at the fire chief, who they eventually threw under the bus. He is the man. Look at his summing up. Look at his summing up. He was pointing all the blame at the Guyana Fire Service. He never mentioned blame apportioned to the minister. The minister said it wasn't our ministry's responsibility. It was the minister of local government or the Ministry of Local Government. They never called anyone from the Ministry of Local Government. And yes, they want us to believe that this is a credible report. Cannot be. Any sensible person reading this cannot see. But what they're going to tell you, the investigation was done, and that is what the Commission of Inquiry said. And some people have argued that a Commission of Inquiry is limited by the terms of reference. I understand that. But even given the terms of reference is limited, and